I have been a fan of K-pop for 5 years now. I started by watching Blackpink music videos in 2018, and then I really got into BTS around 2019, and my interest in the industry kind of as a whole has only grown since then. It's gotten to the point where practically every single song I listen to is a K-pop song, and K-pop really does cater to listening like that. K-pop is full of such variety, and it's so saturated with content and songs. There's practically a new song coming out maybe twice a month from various different groups, if not more often. So K-pop has always been something that is just constantly new, and it keeps me interested. But as I have become more interested in K-pop, I've also started to learn about the cultures that surround K-pop and how all of these things combine to make K-pop what it is. K-pop is the accumulation of global popular culture, Korean culture, and a culture of its own creation. As with everything, there are positive and negatives, but because of the nature of K-pop as accumulation and commodification of culture, I want to explore how these things mix to make K-pop the fascinating microcosm that it is. First, I want to talk about K-pop culture. It might seem a little bit backwards to talk about K-pop culture before I talk about the influences of global pop culture and Korean culture, but I think it's important to create a kind of baseline to understand what K-pop is at the core of it before I look at how it became this way. The first thing I wanted to talk about is the thing that got me into K-pop, and I think the thing that gets, I dare say, most people into K-pop, which is the music videos. K-pop music videos are known for being the most high quality, the best produced music videos, probably in the entire music industry. I think what makes those music videos better is the art direction and is the effort that is put into these music videos. Each music video tends to have its own concept and its own idea, and these are used in such incredible ways to create something very much akin to a visual art. And another reason why these music videos are so fascinating to look at is the choreography that all the idols are performing. I think choreography is something that exists in K-pop that in no way has a Western counterpart. Every single idol needs to be a dancer to a certain extent. There are obviously some idols who are just okay at dancing, and there are some who are absolutely incredible dancers, and that's their main thing. But every single K-pop title track, or the main song that a group puts out, has choreography, if not more songs on an album. Every single group has several choreographies that they perform in music videos, in concert, and in showcases. And I think it really, really adds to the experience of watching a K-pop music video or a K-pop performance, because these idols aren't just standing still and singing their songs. They're actively putting on a real performance every single time they sing their song. And that is something that is so fascinating to look at and to watch. Another thing about K-pop is I think the label K-pop it kind of doesn't capture the true scale of what K-pop sounds like. There are so many different sounds within K-pop that I think, and because of the large amount of songs that are being put out, different companies and different groups can experiment with different sounds and just create this large variety of sounds and concepts.
I'm not gonna be the one to get hurt. I'm not gonna be the one to get hurt. You know what I like. 내 꿈꿔왔던 fire 멈출 줄 모르는 try one more time. Yeah. I just wanna dance until we can.
It is really just, I honestly, I think with K-pop, there's something there for everyone. Every person who likes K-pop that I know, everyone has their own specific taste in music and likes specific groups more because of the type of music they make. And K-pop really caters to that large variety of tastes, and that's why I think it is able to be as huge as it is, because it's not just it's not just pop. Another aspect of K-pop culture is money making. K-pop is, at its core meant to make money. And there are several ways that these K-pop companies make money. There's concerts, there's tourings, there's meet and greets, there's views on music videos and streams, but something that I think is extremely unique to K-pop is albums. I think in modern culture, albums have sort of become obsolete. If you can just stream an artist's song on Spotify, why buy an album? But in K-pop, these albums are known for coming with CDs, yes, but also posters and photo books and photo cards and it's like stickers and stuff like that. It's much more than just an album, and if you want to support your group, this is a way to give them money but also be rewarded. Photo cards have always been particularly interesting to me because they really are just selfies that the idols have taken, but they're turned into cardboard cards, and some of the collections that people have are truly fascinating. While some of these things that I've talked about is not completely unique to K-pop, I think the combination of these things really creates an industry that is perfectly built to enthrall you. It is built to make you gravitate towards certain groups or certain idols. It's meant to keep you watching, keep you streaming, keep you buying things, and it's really unique in that way where it's so entertaining to, I think, almost a ridiculous degree. Now, of course, K-pop couldn't exist if it wasn't for global influence. The beginning of K-pop had a lot of influence from Black music, like hip-hop and breaking, and the style and rap and all of that and that combined with kind of Korean influence to create groups that were able to use this influence to create something completely unique and to create something that is as entertaining as it is today. Specifically, the rap portion. I think rap is much more prominent in K-pop than it is in Western pop. Most, if not every group, has someone who is considered to be their main rapper and who has rap parts in songs. All of this influence from Black culture really asks the question, is any of this cultural appropriation? Cultural appropriation is very much so a blurred line It's very hard to say for sure whether something is like cultural appropriation or it is not. And I think that K-pop really either walks the line, or as some people say, it crosses the line. There are a lot of ways in which K-pop is really just taking from Black culture and not giving anything back. All of the money made from K-pop goes back to Korea, which is a very homogenous country and society. And there is very little recognition of idols to the Black roots of a lot of their art. Now, there is a caveat to this, which is that Koreans don't really have the same relationship to Black people as white people or people in the United States or Europe do. So there is this different relationship. I think one of the biggest examples of this blurred line are box brands. This is Lisa from Blackpink wearing box braids in one of their music videos, and she was criticized online for taking a hairstyle that is not of her culture and is not of hers. Fans argued that it actually is her culture because hairstyles like this are actually very popular in Thailand, and Lisa is Thai. But then people argued back that Thailand stole those hairstyles from Black people. So it's this line of what is influence and what is stealing and what is, the consequences of using this style in a way that it wasn't intended to be. Some more Western influence I've seen very recently is the Y2K aesthetic, specifically for the group New Jeans, who have really embraced this Y2K aesthetic and have grown in global popularity because of it. Speaking of Western popularity, K-pop has started to have its influence on global pop culture right back. I think the first instance of this being Gangnam Style in 2012, which went viral. I remember boys in my 3rd grade class doing the dance. And of course, BTS, who exploded in global popularity, particularly around, I would say, 2018, 2019, and their popularity has only grown since. And while they are on hiatus now, I'm interested to see how their comebacks influence Western culture and how significant these comebacks are. Now, I want to talk about the K in K-pop. Korean culture has a huge influence on K-pop and is something that you really can't take away from K-pop. The Korean influence comes with both good and bad, and I want to talk about both. So for the good, there are many songs that have traditional influence, specifically using traditional instruments and sound to enhance and to combine with the pop sound to create very unique sounds that feel very important to Koreans.
잔머리에 든 건 없어도 행복해 니들처럼 대갈 굴리며 복잡하게 난 살아야 어차피 나는 난 니는 이 싸가지 없어.
Idols also do things like wearing hanboks, which are traditional Korean clothing, will film themselves celebrating traditional holidays. Now, unfortunately, Korean culture does have a lot of negatives, and before I go into these, I want to disclaim that I am not trying to come at this from a moral high ground. I don't want to say I'm morally superior or that my culture is morally superior. So something that is pretty prominent in K-pop is anti-LGBTQ ideas or practices. This is Holland. He is one of the very few out K-pop idols, and he does still continuously get a lot of hate for being out and being queer. Typically, idols do not say anything about LGBTQ things, like, at all. It's much more of a taboo. Last June, idol Ha Jin expressed her love and support for the LGBTQ community, and this was something that kind of has never been done before. A lot of idols have shown support for the LGBTQ community, but in much more subtle ways, such as wearing merch that supports it. Even if any idols are LGBT, they aren't allowed to be out. They're not allowed to come out. Heteronormativity is huge in K-pop, and any idols who are not straight, they can't be out and they can't be known, which leads to a lot of speculation among fans, specifically queer K-pop fans who want to see themselves represented in an industry that they love so much, but they really can't because of the way that the industry is. Another issue is colorism. It has been shown time and time and again that companies whitewash their idols, and idols will whitewash themselves. There's an app called Snow that idols use to edit their photos a lot that automatically lightens their skin, and it's a pretty prominent issue. Idols with darker skin are sometimes bullied by their other members for having darker skin. Idols will say, "Oh no, my skin, it's so tan, it's so ugly, like, don't look at me." And it's a pretty prominent issue that comes from the very strict beauty standards that Korea has. These are some idols who fit into the Korean standards. They have pale skin, large eyes, and just a long list of things that Koreans specifically find to be very attractive. And idols who don't fit into these standards, despite any of their physical appearances, are claimed to be ugly and to not fit the idol image by a lot of Korean fans because they don't fit into the very rigid beauty standards. This also causes xenophobia. Idols who are mixed race are often called ugly because of their genetics are not only, Korean or Asian. There's very specifically xenophobia towards Chinese people. A lot of Chinese idols get a lot of hate, and in competition shows or something like that, they're often edited to look bad, because the producers creating these shows and creating these groups don't want these idols to debut because of their Chinese background. Because K-pop is meant to be marketed and sold, in order to boost Korea's GDP and global popularity and recognition, it has become this very unique microcosm of, I would almost say, hyper culture. I think at this point in the culture, if you think of South Korea, you think of K-pop. And I think that that's what they want. K-pop is very lucrative. BTS contributes a significant portion to Korea's GDP because of their popularity. And I think it creates something that is so fascinating and entertaining and unique because of what it is and what it's trying to do. It is trying to be as attention grabbing and as enthralling and as fandom creating as it possibly can be. And that, combined with all this other cultural influence, creates something truly fascinating. Being a fan of K-pop does come with some hypocrisy. A lot of idols are mistreated by their companies. A lot of bad things it goes on in there, especially as someone who is queer and a gay rights activist and a Black Lives Matter activist. Some of the things that I enjoy goes against those ideas. Also, as a feminist, a lot of K-pop, specifically girl groups, is very specifically about sexualizing women. And so it's kind of a contradictory entertainment for me. But beside all that, for me, K-pop is something that just genuinely brings me so much joy. I love watching the groups that I follow. I want to go to their concerts. I am part of a dance cover group, and we cover these songs, which is so much fun, and I found some of my closest friends through that connection, and it has fantastic music. I really truly never run out of music to listen to because of how much music there is in K-pop. It truly fascinates me endlessly how, and I think this applies to anthropology as a whole, how much of everything is practically a domino effect or a butterfly effect. How one certain thing can create something as huge as K-pop. How South Korea's desirability to become relevant in pop culture becomes K-pop and becomes what K-pop is today. And that just fascinates me to a degree that is kind of hard to express. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. I know it's long, but hopefully the visuals have kept you entertained, and annyeong.